It once existed solely through the narratives of science fiction, an idea that lacked the technology to make it possible, but now virtual and augmented reality could allow us to communicate with the dead. Researchers are now dabbling with the idea of using simulations to embody the personalities of the deceased, essentially bringing the dead back to life to help loved ones cope with their passing. And, according to research scientist Muhammad Ayad, harnessing these technologies is just the next step in the evolution of bereavement. Inspired by the death of his father, the researcher from the Department of Computer Science at the University of Minnesota has launched a project to bring this idea to reality. You wake up, get ready for work, have some toast and coffee with your spouse, then wave goodbye. It's your typical workday, Ahmad writes in an article for Ian. There is, however, something unusual. Your beloved has been dead for many years. You didn't have breakfast with your spouse, but rather with a simulation of your spouse. Rather than focusing on designing experiences with the deceased, Ahmad explains, the goal is to recreate the experience of them. This distinction aims to eliminate the irrelevant and distracting questions that may come with building a simulation. Like, will such a system have a soul? Will it be conscious? Using torrents of data about a particular person, the simulation could act as a digital likeness for the deceased, capturing their voice, gait, mannerisms, and even the unique sounds of their laugh. A scenario like the one described above could be carried out with the use of VR devices such as the Oculus Rift. Ahmad writes, the researchers says the use of simulations could help the living to maintain a connection with the dead, helping people to feel as they are no longer cut off from that person. This could help us to let go of old grudges or reminisce on happier times. Of course, there are immediate objections to be expected. The researcher points out, explaining that many will argue that the simulation could never stack up to the real thing. Similar arguments, however, have been disproved in recent years by the increasing capabilities of technology. This is akin to saying that a chess program is not going to be able to play chess in the same artful manner that a human champion does. He writes, while IBM's Deep Blue had an exhaustive search-based chess-playing architecture that was less than elegant, it did accomplish the task of defeating the greatest chess grandmaster who ever lived. The researcher also points to the possible negative effects these simulations could have on real-world interactions. For example, it may be more enjoyable to interact with an idealized personality that's tailored to our whims than with real people. Still, he says, this step is inevitable. If we don't start a discussion about the possibility and viability of simulations of the deceased now, then they will be thrust upon us when we're not ready for them in the near future. Ahmad warns, the road will be fraught with moral dilemmas and questions about the human conditions. Soon, the line that divides the living from the dead might not be so clear.